Ascended Heroes. This is my first video, probably of many, I would say, on Ascended Heroes. We're going to talk solely about pull rates and what this means for the future of this set, both as a collector and an investor alike. Now, I can't take credit for this, which I'm putting up on the screen now. These are the pull rates, and we're going to discuss this in more detail. There are many YouTubers, many pack openers that open hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of packs to collate some sort of data for the community. There's people like, and shout out to Jay Ketchum, who watches lots of videos and collates the data. Shout out to guys like Denny Phantom that spend hours upon hours opening heaps of packs to put this data together for us so we can see what the pull rates for specific sets are. So I don't want to take any credit for any of that. I have nothing to do with it. I just want to talk about what this means for us collectors and us investors alike. But as we can see from the pull rates, they're quite tough. That is the first and most obvious answer that we've got there. Like any SIR sitting at 1 in 91, which isn't crazy. Like it's certainly not easy like it has been for some other sets, but it's not crazy. It's just the fact that we've got so many SIRs inside this set. It seems that a specific SIR or pulling any specific SIR is over 1 in 2,000 packs. Now that is some pull rates we haven't seen for a while. That is insane levels. We're going back to Sword and Shield, old art, difficult pull rate eras from sets like Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies. So what does this mean? Now, let's take a little bit more of a look at Ascended Heroes before we jump in exactly what this means. Here's the set. I'm going to scroll through some of the top chase cards inside it. And for me, this looks so positive, this set. I really, really like this set. The artwork looks incredible. Look at the cards that we're getting inside this set. We're getting a beautiful Gengar. We're getting 2 gold cards in a Dragonite and a Charizard. We're getting 2 special illustration rare Pikachus, and one of them doesn't have a stupid Terra hat on. It actually is a very, very good looking card. We're getting a Mega Dragonite. We're getting things like Lily's Clefairy. We're going all the way back to further generations, and we're getting things from Gen 2 with starters like Meganium and Feraligatr. We're even getting cool little cards in illustration rares like Psyduck. This set looks absolutely phenomenal. And by the way, this video is straight off the Collector app. You'll see how easy it is to filter from top card to lowest card in terms of hits and price. There's a link in the description to download it. Moreover than that, you can jump into set analytics in the Collector app. And this is what I want to talk about or touch on really quickly when it comes to set analytics and singles and cards and what it means for investing, particularly investing in singles at this stage. So as you'll see, a lot of the singles are very expensive. And what happens typically, and you'll see from the total set value in the last week, it has already dipped massively, over $2,000 lost in total set value over the last week. We're currently sitting at a total set value still astronomical of nearly $10,000 US total set value. That is an insane total set value. It will come down though. Mark my words, it'll continue to come down. It's already had $2,000 US of value ripped off it in the last week since launch, and it'll continue to come. Well, it hasn't even been a week since launch. That's how rapidly it'll come down. Because what happens is, and look, it's a no-brainer for those that have been in the hobby for a while, and this might be maybe insulting some people's intelligence, and I don't mean to do that. Of course, when a set first comes out, there's very little supply. And what people will do is they'll overpay for singles at the start just to have the first one, or maybe the first PSA 10 copy. They'll pay crazy amounts for first PSA 10 copies, which just makes no sense to me. Raw cards will come down. Why? Because more and more packs will get open. Elite trainer boxes aren't too far around the corner, so we'll get a lot more supply. As we get more supply, there will be more of these cards pulled, which will mean there'll be more and more on the market. As they get graded over the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, we'll see more and more of these cards in Gem Mint 10s. We need to wait for things like what is the gem mint rate on these cards, but they'll get cheaper. Don't rush out and buy raw copies of these cards. Don't rush out and buy PSA 10 copies of these cards. From an investing standpoint, when it comes to the singles, they will get cheaper. Trust me, because more supply will hit the market. I think this set, and look, this is literally a thought, and certainly not set in stone. We don't know what the print rates will be for this set, but it seems like Pokemon really love printing holiday sets lately. We saw it with Prismatic Evolutions, we saw it with Crown Zenith, we saw it with 151, where we did get multiple print runs. And I think Ascended Heroes, with the popularity of this set, the way they've stacked it, the sets that they seem to stack, I feel like the reason they're doing that, they're stacking these sets so heavily, is that, you know, people just want to keep coming back for more. And because there's no booster boxes where you can't get really dense packs, so 36 packs inside a booster box, you've got to go out and buy more product to get more packs to rip them open. It's as simple as that. I think it's a business plan. Let's stack the holiday sets so people need to rip them open. And people want to rip them open because they're so stacked, they need to buy more product. It's as simple as that. I think it's a very strategic play from the Pokemon Company in terms of turning us, consumers, into handing our money over to them to buy more and more and more. So my thoughts on Ascended Heroes print run is we should get multiple waves, and it'll be done in such a staged way that it'll never wreck the market. Like, there won't be so much that'll be sitting on shelves. We've got the Scalper, of course, issues at the moment with Pokemon cards. It's absolutely insane, but I think it'll be similar to Prismatic Evolutions, 151, and Crown Zenith, in that we're going to get so many waves or multiple waves of this. It will just mean that singles prices will come down. So my first bit of advice, when we look at Ascended Heroes and the current prices of singles, please don't go rushing out and getting them. Like, whether you get it in the first week or whether you get it 6 months from launch, if you're going to lock it away as part of your private collection, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be the first to have one. You're literally just going to be overpaying to have that little necessity. It's just not needed. Now, the next thing I'll say about these pull rates is we haven't seen this for so long. And I think the reason for this is just because of the set size. This set, I think, mark my words or correct me if I'm wrong, this is the biggest English Pokemon card set we have ever had. It is absolutely huge. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the second biggest Pokemon card set, or this is the biggest card set since we've had Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike, I think, was the second biggest Pokemon card set. I don't do a heap of, like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you do a heap of data and digging into, you know, set size and like, it doesn't really bother me. When it comes to singles, I buy what I like. If I think it's a good product because it's got a high total set value and really good chase cards and I see a good future for it, well, of course, I'll buy the sealed product as an investment because I think it's going to perform really well. What can we learn from big sets? That's the big question, because that's what this is. It's a big set. And I get it. We haven't seen, I guess, as big a holiday-based set as this for a while. Like, Prismatic Evolutions wasn't small, but typically we've seen big sets, if we go back to Sword and Shield and even Scarlet and Violet, come from the main sets. Things like I said before, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies wasn't a small set as well, Chilling Reign wasn't a small set. So typically with these bigger sets, they have actually performed really, really well, the sealed product that is. Look at Fusion Strike, performed really well. And it's interesting because it's like you get two sides to the argument. One side of the argument is, oh, pull rates are so tough. Like, isn't this supposed to be fun? This is a holiday set. We're supposed to be just getting hit after hit after hit. A bit like Crown Zenith, a bit like Paldean Fates. They are fun, easy sets to open where you're just getting sort of hit after hit after hit. The other side of the coin, or the other argument is, well, if it's hard to pull the cards you want, it's going to keep people coming back because they're going to need to open more packs to be able to pull the cards they want. Like, there's a bit of a business ploy there. And we saw it with Prismatic Evolutions. We saw it with sets like Evolving Skies. We saw it with Fusion Strike. What it does is it hypes up the chase even more. Like, realistically, and maybe we need a little bit more data on this, but realistically, if that Gengar is in 1 in 2,000 packs, or any specific illustration rare is 1 in 2,000 packs, that's insane. Like, even Umbreon VMAX and Gengar VMAX from Fusion Strike were like 1 in 1,500, 1 in 1,600 packs. Even Umbreon EX from Prismatic Evolutions, which is super, super hard to pull, is not 1 in 2,000 packs. Again, it's sitting somewhere around 1 in 1,500 packs. So if this truly is 1 in 2,000 packs, I don't know if we've ever seen pull rates that hard. And even if we go all the way back to EX era or all the way back to Wizards of the Coast era, don't forget, Wizards of the Coast holos were 1 in 3 packs. So even if you bought a first edition base set booster box, you had like an 80% chance of pulling a holo Charizard out of your booster box. You have no odds anywhere near that from sets like Evolving Skies, pulling that Umbreon out of a booster box, or Fusion Strike, pulling the Gengar from Fusion Strike out of the booster box. We forget how, I guess, good we had it back then. Like, you're guaranteed 12 holos out of a base set booster box. It's crazy good odds. And there's what, 14 holos is there? Anyway, you get my point. It is so much harder to pull modern hits than it was in the past. Even Gold Stars were easier to pull, and they've been touted as some of the hardest cards to pull ever. You know, typically it was about 1 Gold Star in a case, which is, you know, I guess 1 in 36 times 6 packs, or even, it was even a bit better than that. I think it was about 1, or you get about 2 in 1.5 cases. So, you know, it might have been about every 4th or 5th booster box you were pulling a Gold Star. Like, you could literally go through 10 cases, hypothetically in some cases, of Evolving Skies and not get 1 Umbreon. Like, you might be that unlucky that you don't get one. Like, that wouldn't happen in the past. If you went through 10 cases of an EX era set, you'd be pulling the Gold Star that you wanted to pull. Even EX Deoxys, like you would be getting a Gold Star Rayquaza. EX Team Rocket Returns, you would probably get a couple of copies if you went through 10 cases of each of the Gold Stars of the Mudkip, the Torchic, and the Trico. Like, I can't believe these pull rates. Like, they're just insane, aren't they? So what does this actually mean for the future of this set? And I know it's very, very early on. Here's a few things. Here's a few takeaways from Pokeoz's little trinket of knowledge. 1, like I said at the start, don't buy singles now. A, they're going to get heaps cheaper. B, don't buy graded cards as soon as they come out, because same thing, they will get cheaper. Why? Because more supply will hit the market. Sealed, I'm a bit torn on sealed. What we've learned from the past is that if you don't buy at pre-order prices, particularly with the scalping that's going on at the moment, you might never see them at pre-order prices again. So, look, there's still plenty of pre-orders online. Like, you can log onto eBay, you can pre-order, and whether people have already got their allocations filled or whatnot. But here in Australia, you can go online on eBay and still pre-order cases and, you know, individual Elite Trainer boxes for relatively, you know, cheap price, like cheaper than what you can buy a Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer box. The thing is though, if you buy them at these somewhat inflated prices, like, you know, you probably got to pay $100 US or $110 US for an Elite Trainer box, it might take, if we get the multiple print runs like we're seeing with Prismatic Evolutions, which is now a year old, mind you, or a touch over a year old, pricing hasn't really changed. It's gone up and down due to, you know, supply starts to dry up, new print run hits, it goes back down, supply starts to dry up, pricing goes back up, it comes back down. And 12 months down the track, pricing hasn't really changed. Like, what you could buy an Elite Trainer box 12 months ago, Prismatic Evolutions, that's still the market price. It's really made no shift. But here's the thing, and here's my takeaway from it when it comes to sealed. You are running the risk of never being able to buy it that cheap again. So let's say you do buy it for $100 US or $110 US off the early secondary market, off the pre-order market. The fact is, it's probably going to get multiple print raves. But if you truly believe in the product, then it's not going to matter. Or if you're truly believing in the product with the intention to hold it long term, it's not going to matter. So 2 things. 1, the cards that I showed you up on the screen, this set is stacked. It is a beautiful Pokemon card set. Someone will bag me out for saying that. Someone always does. 2, those pull rates are enticing. They're enticing because the cards are going to be hard to pull. People are still going to want to chase them. The pull rates will, or tough pull rates do, always correlate to higher individual raw prices. Like that Gengar, right, which is currently, I don't know, $1,100 and it was $1,500 a day ago, and who knows where the floor will be for it. This isn't a video about talking about the floor of it, but eventually, you know, it might come down a little bit more. If that Gengar was 1 in 100 packs, it wouldn't be $1,100 already. It's probably going to be a $200 card. Pull rates really matter on singles. So with all that in mind, Like I said, let's just reiterate one final time. 1, don't buy singles now. 2, don't buy graded cards now. Just wait a little bit because they're going to become cheaper. 3, total set value for this set, which is currently $9,700, is going to come down. 4, if you're looking at buying an Elite Trainer box and you truly believe in the product, pre-ordering it is not a bad move, particularly if you have a long-term hold strategy, which I always suggest. I always suggest going long-term strategy. Long-term is the best. And look, Prismatic Evolutions, you can look back and go, oh, you know, I bought it for $100 12 months ago and it's still $100. Well, if you truly believe in the product, that doesn't matter. The printers will eventually turn off for Prismatic and they'll go on to something else, like Ascended Heroes and the upcoming other Mega Evolution sets. And eventually, you know what? Supply will slowly start to dry up. And even if it takes a bit of time, like I truly believed in Hidden Fates when it first came out. I was like, you know what? This is stacked. It's such a good set. So many baby shinies, so many nice big shinies, including a Charizard. The Elite Trainer box is a banger. The promo was good. It was cheap when it first came out, but we've all seen what's happened with that Stained Glass Bird Trio from Hidden Fates. I believed in it. And you know what? It sat at a very, very similar price for like 3 years. And then all of a sudden, bang, Hidden Fates has absolutely taken off. It was overprinted, just like Prismatic Evolutions. Well, I shouldn't say overprinted. It was printed a lot to demand, just like Prismatic Evolutions. Ascended Heroes is probably going to be printed a lot, just like Hidden Fates and Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith, same thing, 12 months, sat for the same price. Also, was flash sold at like 59 Australian dollars, which is like 35, 39 US dollars. Like it was so cheap. And then all of a sudden, 2 years down the track, started to absolutely skyrocket in price. If you truly believe in the product, which I do with Ascended Heroes, I think it is a phenomenal set. I think it's got all the right chase cards. We've gone through them. We don't need to again. It is going to be a very, very good long-term hold. And these abysmal pull rates that everyone's talking about, it doesn't matter. We've proven in the past that abysmal pull rates don't matter. In fact, they can only sometimes be a positive to investors. Yes, it makes it hard for collectors. Yes, it makes it hard for the player base that are trying to pull the cards they want to maybe play the game or collect. But I don't know, it's part of the fun of it, isn't it? Like, if everything was 1 in 20 packs, it wouldn't be fun. Like, it's fun having tiered pull rates, in my opinion. I really like it. I like the tougher pull rates in this. I like the set. I like it as a long-term investment. And I would like to buy some of the singles from it for my collection as well, which I'll do down the track as prices get cheaper. There you go. There's my take on the abysmal pull rates. I'm Michael. This is Pokey Oz. Catch everyone next time.